Whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, or around the world, this is Coast to Coast. How's it going, guys?
Great.
Doing wonderful today. Watching more Yankees fans crying. Wah, wah, wah.
Funny thing about that, it sounds like a contributing factor to that move was the Yankees wouldn't give him a suite.
They wouldn't give him a suite.
Steve, so the Yankees make their players pay for the suite, as in like they can get a suite at Yankee Stadium, but they make the players take the cost of that suite out of their contract. So Aaron Judge has a suite, I think Stanton has a suite, and I think Garrett Cole have a suite.
Yep.
But Soto said he didn't want any of his contractual money to come out of his contract for that suite, and the Yankees said, no, we're not going to do that. Steve Cohen said, sure, you want a suite, we'll give it to you. So Juan Soto's not paying for a suite.
You got to penny pinch that $700 million.
Hey, how sweet it is.
And there was an issue, I guess there was an issue last year with Yankee security too when it came to Juan Soto's family. Yes. How something happened where his mom or somebody in his family got removed from the game or something due to Yankee security, and that kind of rubbed Juan Soto the wrong way.
I feel like there's some backstory that we're not aware of.
Oh, I do too, but I do too. I feel there's a lot more than just the backstory. There's got to be more to it than that, but that just goes to show you that maybe he didn't want to be a Yankee anymore, and he's just like, I like New York. But
I mean, the fact that he left the team makes you think that he didn't want to be a Yankee anymore because the contract was the difference of $5 million in 1 year.
Yeah.
So,
but he at least showed you that he at least chose New York, which goes to show that he did like being in New York. It was just a matter of what organization.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the extra little middle finger right there. You're just like, I'm going to stay. It's going to be the same money. Really wanted the suite.
I'm going to live in the same house that I was living in last year. Right by Yankee Stadium, but I'm going to drive across town to play.
I don't know. $700 million. Maybe you move.
He might eventually, but I'm just saying that's like kind of like what he's doing right now. He's like, I'm going to just keep living in this nice house that I'm in right now. And I'm just going to drive across town to play until I decide what house I want to buy.
I mean, think about really jobs you didn't like when you were younger, right? And you drive by, you kind of flip them the bird as you're driving by. Like, that might be part of it. Not mad at it. Might be part of it.
It's probably a big part of it.
So...
I mean, we're definitely going to talk about that, especially that last play. It was pretty amazing. You get the block, and then you still mess it up. That is the most Cowboys thing to do this year.
How did they mess it up?
So they block the punt, right? And as long as they don't touch it again, like you can block it at the line, it's not a live ball, right? Like if the kicking team recovers, it's still downed.
Yeah.
Well, one of their guys, the ball lands by him, tries to make a play on it, bounces off his arm, Bengals recover.
And they run for the first down.
First down. It does not at that point. It's not
automatic first
once
down.
It touches.
No, but he actually advanced it I think 6 or 7 yards after the Bengal guy got it, didn't he?
Oh yeah.
Like he got it and actually ran forward, so they got positive yards out of it. Plus,
do you think they would have learned that from the 90s? Hey, hold on. We blocked a field goal. Don't touch the ball.
Right? Away from. And it was funny because their special teams coordinator, he's like, yeah, so many emotions in 2 seconds, and then they tear off a touchdown. It was a wrap.
That was awesome. Love that.
Love it.
And
implosion.
And of course, Jay isn't here, but Joe is. So thanks for always showing up, Joe.
We chose to go to a team that has to meet up. Listen, I 100%. Soto has never been really scary to the Phillies. So we have been able to deal with him pretty well. So I'm not concerned about him being a Met. The one thing I am positive about the Mets is that they will Mets it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, the Mets are they're the baseball equivalent of the Chargers to me. Right? Even when they have a good team, you're like, yeah. But are they
know that they're the equivalent of the Chargers.
No,
That
I
they're
like
the equivalent of
the Mets are the Mets are the NFL equivalent of the Jets.
Only because they have a ring. Is that why we're?
No, it's because the Jets on paper have a talented roster. They just manage to F it up every single year.
No,
The
I mean,
Mets-
and that's why I made the Chargers comparison, because when you think back to when like Tomlinson was there, right? Like that team was stacked, and then just couldn't figure out a way to do anything.
yeah. It'll be interesting to see what happens during baseball season. But I'm gonna wait till baseball season because, you know what? The Phillies signed a reliever yesterday.
Jordan Romano.
Yay! So
Mariners are doing zero things. So
No, you and me. Our
Yeah.
teams are talking. We're gonna be talking for the next 48 hours yet.
yeah,
about what?
Mariners really want Nico Horner.
Oh, Nico.
eh,
Okay. Good enough. Woohoo! Yay!
right. That exactly.
It'll be Nico Horner, and we'll take a picture from Seattle, whatever picture they want to give us at that point. Most likely Luis Castillo because of his contract.
Too much money.
Yeah, because you have Logan Gilbert's making like 7 or 8 million. Brian Woo's making like 3. You have George Kirby who's making like 6, and then Luis Castillo's making 26.
Yeah, I feel like that's throwing 30 cents worth of gas in your car. That needle isn't moving at all.
Well, getting rid of $26 million contract is good contract.
Yeah, that's why like Nico Horner's making I think 12 or 13 million, and then if we get Luis Castillo, you're essentially saving $13 million by giving us Luis Castillo.
No. I mean, from the Mariners side,
Yeah,
that doesn't move the needle. Like,
no, it doesn't. But I mean, at least he's a contact hitter, which your lineup doesn't have a lot of.
Yeah.
True.
And he gets on base, and he can steal bases, and he's a Gold Glove defender. So I mean, that's going to help your team a little bit in some other aspects. Where Luis Castillo, like he's a solid pitcher, but he's not an ace by any means anymore. So paying him like an ace pitcher doesn't do anybody any well. So send him to Chicago. He'll be the team's number 2 and just separate Imanaga and Steele.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm not interested in talking baseball. Just not interested yet.
Not unless the Phillies sign Corbin Burns.
Who?
Like the top free agent pitcher outside of Sasaki.
Oh.
He was at Baltimore last year.
I mean, the thing is baseball
Do
season.
you remember Baltimore last year? Baltimore had a pretty good season, except their pitching. Their pitching was like the worst part of that team.
Not Burns. Burns was like 18-6 with like a 2.4. Burns was like the only one of their pitchers that actually was worth a damn.
Okay.
He was the one that the Brewers traded to Baltimore for like 5 or 6 prospects. And he was the only one that stayed healthy. He was the only one that was worth a damn in Baltimore last year for pitching.
Got you. Well, all of that, and he's still, they didn't do very much. So, and he's a free agent?
Yeah, he's a free agent this year, yeah.
All right.
He's probably going to get like a 7-year deal north of like 220, 230.
I am interested to hear about who's going to be playing our third base. And I'll be honest with you, not that anybody's going to trade for him right now, but I'd be asking around if anybody had any sniff of an interest in Trey Turner.
I don't think people. A lot of teams would, but would the Phillies want to get rid of him?
I would want to get rid of him. I personally would want to get rid of him. Yes. Now, not that he's ridiculous. Like I'm not giving him away for a bag of socks. But I am having conversations. I think that he was part of the change of mentality in the locker room.
Okay.
Yep. And since he's gotten here, we haven't been able to recreate what happened in 22.
Mm-hmm.
And, they made a movie about him now. Hey, Trey Turner is back. And we all gave him a round of applause. Thank you, John. And the Philly captain. So The Comeback. If anybody hasn't seen it yet, The Comeback with my buddy, the Philly captain in it. It was critically acclaimed. Actually, could be going up for an Oscar.
Really?
Golden Globe is television, right?
Yes.
Or is that movie as well?
Golden Globe is TV.
Okay. Yeah, then it would be going up for an Oscar.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oscar and Emmy, I believe, is movies, and then the Golden
Well,
Globe.
Emmy is more. I thought Emmy was daytime television. Thought Emmys would television. That's why I'm saying I don't. Are you sure Golden Globe's not is Golden Globes TV? Maybe movies.
I don't know. I can honestly say I don't watch any of the award shows.
I don't watch them either, but I don't know. Like it's.
No,
So
that's why I say like I don't know.
So Golden Globe is movies. It's best motion picture. It's best drama. It's best.
Yeah, I think it's going up for Golden Globe, not an Oscar.
Yeah,
Although,
Oscar.
because this is only a 30-minute movie. It's a 30-minute documentary style movie. And everybody thinks it's like, oh, hey, we all clapped for Trey Turner, but it's not about Trey Turner. It's actually about my buddy John. So great.
So like the Oscars are specifically for like the actors and actresses, and then the Golden Globes are more so for like the movie itself and like the stuff that goes into the movie, like the producers.
That's what he's going up for. Then I'm sure. You know, like I bet you if you win a number of Golden Globes, you start to get thought of for the Oscars as well, because it's not just the Oscars that you see for all the major movies. There's a whole Oscar show that happens behind the scenes for all the documentaries and the smaller movies and things like that. Like, and that's where this would fall under. You're not going to see. I don't suspect you would see my buddy John.
Yeah, like Ryan Reynolds and like Will Smith and a couple other actors have gotten Oscars and Golden Globes the same year because they produced the same movie that they acted in. So they got the Oscar for the acting part of it, but then they also got the Golden Globe for being like best comedy, best motion picture, and things like that.
Gotcha.
So there's a way that you can get both in the same year, depending on how the film is and depending on who directs it.
Well, if the people are watching and they can, nominate our show, that'd be awesome.
But we're not a movie.
No. But they do have a podcast area for some of the award shows now. So if we could, if you could help us out, it'd be rad.
We can be the People's Choice Awards, better known as the Podcast Awards.
Perfect. Let's do it.
Actually, you know what? I think that we'd be better off getting a Razzie.
Honestly, probably true. Probably more likely too.
Yeah, I'm like, hold on, we're gonna give you guys a Razzie because they really suck.
Yeah, right.
The most least watched podcast in the world, still going strong.
Getting a 0 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Hey, listen, Robert and Joe and everybody else that's watching right now, we don't mean you guys.
Yeah. No, we appreciate that you guys watch. Man, good stuff.
So, but anyways, I do happen to know that Seattle will be coming into town. When does Seattle come into town? Oh, August, late August, the 18th, 19th, and 20th of August.
Okay. Just
so that you guys are aware. I'll make sure that the room is clean for you guys to stay in.
18 through 20. All right. Philly. Let's go.
When do the Cubs come to Philly this year? April? May?
No, they are in Philly July 4th.
Oh.
No, it's Cincinnati over July 4th weekend. Where is it that you guys are?
Because last year we were in Philly in, I think, September, so usually it'll flip, which means we'll probably be in Philly earlier in the year this upcoming season.
Because we are normally in Chicago right around the 4th of July. At least that's happened the last. You guys are in town early June.
Early June, okay.
9th, 10th, and 11th is when you guys are here. We go there to you. We go there twice this year because we're doing the White Sox as well.
So it should be like the same week. So you should actually be in Chicago for like the whole week, wouldn't you?
No, it doesn't work that way.
Damn.
Yeah, because we actually have the Yankees Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then go to Chicago Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, end of July. The Cubs themselves they came here early, but we go there end of during the draft. Actually,
Frankie, Josh
see,
Allen,
actually now, see, because if I was to drive, it would be a long drive, but I could stop in Chicago and pick up the game on Sunday. That would be actually a way to do that.
yeah,
Instead of flying, driving out there, taking the whole week, and being out there by like leaving on Tuesday. It's a 13-hour drive, so it's a hike, but it's not ridiculous. I mean, I've done it in one sitting, and after you're done driving for 13 hours, you're like a little shaky afterwards.
yeah, it's zero fun. Yeah.
Not fun at all. But absolutely worth it to do that, to be able to come home and go to those and then stop for the Sunday game in Chicago against the Cubs. It would be my first time in Wrigley Field.
Oh, you will love it.
That'd
Just make sure you bring a shit ton of money because freaking Wrigley Field is fucking expensive.
Well, not only that, I got to make sure I bring a shit ton of clothes because it's going to be freaking cold. April.
Depending on where the wind's blowing, though. Chances are it's going to be chilly, but if the wind is blowing off the lake, you'll need to wear like a winter parka. But if it's just like a normal
You're
day.
selling that it's not cold.
No, because there's days in.
So it's not that bad.
Well, no, because there's days in June where it's like 95 degrees outside, and at the start of the game, it's 95 degrees outside. But then all of a sudden, by the fifth inning, the wind shifts and it starts coming up the lake, and all of a sudden, it goes from 95 to 70. So, like, there are times where that.
Yeah, but when it goes from 95 to 70, that's okay.
Yeah.
Because my short sleeve shirt was up like this. Now I'm putting the short sleeve.
That's why you always have to look at the wind the day that you go to the game to get a sense of how cold it is. Because if the wind is coming off of the lake, it's even if it says it's 53 degrees outside, it's going to be about 15 to 20 degrees colder if the wind is coming off the lake.
Yeah.
And Frankie, actually, that is not true.
Yeah.
That was only the one time. And no, I'm not talking about with this MVP.
I'm glad that Frankie put that comment up.
I was going to say the MVP. That's Josh Allen at the moment.
Well, no, I'm glad that he put that up because that kind of falls into my new tagline at the bottom.
Well, which falls into my tagline.
Who are the 4 MVP candidates right now, in your opinion?
The ones on my tagline?
Well, I would say Barkley, Jackson, Allen are 3. And you know Pat Mahomes is going to get consideration because it's Pat Mahomes.
Someone's going to give him. Someone's going to give him one.
Someone's going to give him a vote, so he's going to be in there. But when you look at Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and Sam Darnold has more passing.
I know you keep posting stuff that says, "Hey, he's got more more yards than Jackson. He's got more touchdowns than Allen, and he is, he doesn't have any. He doesn't have more rushing yards than Barkley.
No, he doesn't. But if you're going to put it's always a quarterback award for the most part. Yep. And chances are, if you have a winning team, if your team makes the playoffs and you finish with like a really good record, you're going to be put in the MVP conversation, even if you deserve it or don't deserve it. I don't think Darnold deserves it, and I don't think Darnold is going to win it, but he is going to end up getting MVP consideration at the end of the season if he keeps playing at the level he's playing at right now. Because he's gone now 4 games without an interception. He's got, I think, 10 touchdowns and 0 interceptions in his last 4 games. If he can do this the next 4 games, because he's got Green Bay and Detroit at the end of the year, if he keeps playing well enough, he will put himself in the
You guys had one good game, and the last 2 games, we talked about how they stunk for 3 quarters and how he pulled it off in the 4th. 2 games in a row, you said like that, and then you just happen to have a good game against Atlanta. That stinks out loud, by the way. So, I mean, not for nothing. The fact that you even got him sniffing it, I'll give the sniff. I'll give the sniff. He is 11-2. He is 11-2. He is playing pretty well. I'll give him the sniff.
And
I would still have Goff ahead of Darnold.
I would. There was people on NFL Live yesterday, and there was people on I forgot what other NFL show I was watching that said they would vote for Sam Darnold for MVP if Minnesota keeps playing at the level they're playing at. Just because as good as Justin Jefferson is, outside of the 2 touchdowns that Justin Jefferson had this past Sunday, Those are his first touchdowns in over 2 months. So it's not like Jefferson's been the one carrying the load for Minnesota. It's been Darnold spreading the ball out and getting everybody more actively involved than anybody ever was.
Well, I know because you can't say it's an Eagle. I understand. As of right now, to this time, I mean, so Saquon Barkley in 13 games has broken the franchise record for the Eagles. So it's 13 games. He's got the rushing record for the Eagles. It's possible that he's going to break the all-time record in week 16.
Yeah, if he does that, I would say there's a really good shot he wins. Like as it sits today, I think Josh Allen would win. But
I don't think so because he lost the last game. Even though as great of a game he did, he lost the last game.
And that's kind of why I think he would win because he put up 42 points on his own. It's the defense that freaking shit the damn bed against the Rams. It wasn't him.
That's the thing, right? He throws.
He single-handedly brought the. He single-handedly.
He ain't kicking extra points. He got 36 points. Let's be.
Well, yeah, but he single-handedly brought the Bills back though. Like
no. I mean, it's so even in a loss like that was good, but numbers obviously aren't everything because we're not talking about Joe Burrow in this, and he's having a fantastic year.
And that's the one name.
His defense can't stop anything.
And this is the one year where if the NFL gave the MVP to a player from a losing team, Joe Burrow would be the exception this year, based on the year that he's had this year. Like if there was ever a time to look at just numbers alone and not look at how your team has performed, this would be the one time where I think a losing team could give an MVP to Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I mean it's not going to happen. But when you look at his numbers, he should be in the conversation.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it would never happen because they always look at obviously wins and losses as part of the criteria. But if there was ever a year where you would kind of throw wins and losses out the window, this would be the year for Joe Burrow because of the year that he's had.
That being said, like if you wanted to take a flyer, if you go to BetMGM, it's 25,000 is the line, plus 25,000 for Burrow to win. So if you wanted to throw $10 at it,
hey, Sam Darnold went from plus 12,000 to plus 600 after the damn weekend.
To plus 600.
Yep, Sam Darnold is plus 600 right now to win MVP.
Wow, I'm not seeing that.
Yeah,
I see him at plus 6,600.
There it is.
Maybe that's what. But let me hold on. That might be
plus 600 would be above Lamar Jackson right now, or Allen.
No, that's what it is. Plus 6,600 from plus.
Yeah, there we go.
So basically,
Josh Allen is minus 450. Yeah. Saquon is plus 400. Lamar plus 1,400. Goff at plus 1,300, and then it's 4,000 and up from there.
Yeah, he cut his odds from plus 12,000 to plus 6,600 after the game against Atlanta. So he basically cut his odds in half.
Different number than 600.
Yeah. Oh, I remember the 600 part of it, but yeah, he cut his odds pretty much exactly in half after one performance.
I feel like stat guys doing these stats are whatever they say, whatever.
No, I was looking at a stinking spreadsheet, and all these numbers are so damn small. I need a freaking magnifying glass to read this shit. If you really want to throw some money down, you can put money on Kirk Cousins.
No, that is flushing money because even if he had perfect passer ratings the rest of the way, he wouldn't win.
He's at plus 100,000 to 1 to win the MVP. You can put some money on him.
Yeah, him and Bryce killing it. Yeah, now yeah, in fact, Mahomes plus 4,000.
Yeah.
So Mahomes somehow still lurking in there, which makes absolutely no sense because he has not played well all year.
Yeah. So which list are you looking at? Like what website?
This is VegasInsider.com.
So I'm on.
Shout out to them. They have the top 6 sports books all listed together.
Yeah. So I'm on a sports book that's provided by DraftKings.
Okay, so Allen would be a minus 400 then?
Yeah, minus 400 for Allen, plus 450 for Barkley, plus 1,000 for Lamar Jackson and Goff, plus 4,000 for Mahomes, and Darnold's at plus 5,000 on that list. So he's even lower down on that list in terms of like what the
FanDuel actually has Mahomes at 3,300.
Yeah.
So like those numbers are way too low for the production we've watched.
Yeah. And it's just because it's the Chiefs are 12-1. It's just because it's Patrick Mahomes, and as long as Patrick, everyone knows, as long as Patrick Mahomes plays and is healthy, if the Chiefs are winning games, his name's going to be in the MVP conversation every single freaking year, even if he doesn't deserve
it. This is such a boring ass conversation. I know, because Darnold's in it, because a Viking is in it, and it's been the first time since Adrian Peterson that a Vikings actually had a sniff, a sniff of an MVP.
No, 3 years ago. Justin Jefferson finished third in the MVP voting when he won the Triple Crown for wide receivers.
Great. So, but like Mahomes won it, like far and away, right?
Yeah, that was
actually Mahomes was number one. I think Hurts was number two.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And speaking of betting, you can do it right alongside us here on Coast to Coast by using the QR code on the screen. Your first 3 deposits up to 125% of those, and a 10% bet guarantee if you happen to lose by betting on Kirk Cousins. And you may have to take advantage of that. And of course, if you are here in the Pacific Northwest, you can use this QR code on the screen. Free 5-day pass at any of the 3 locations, whether it's Bellevue, Ballard, or University Village. True Fusion Gym. Yeah, you know what? Good enough. There we go.
I want to know what bar is.
So you're using like a ballet bar. So you're doing work with that bar. So yeah.
So I got one more. I have
that
one
was
more.
A great explanation. That was fantastic analysis of working out there, Bo.
Well, I can honestly say I haven't taken a bar class. I just happen to know that they use the ballet bar.
Yeah.
They go to the bar and they work out. 12 ounces up, 12 ounces down.
I've done a fair amount.
Actually, 12 ounces up, 11 ounces down. 11 ounces up, 9 ounces down. You know.
So I wanted to ask you guys a question about Darnold yesterday that I never got to ask, and because somebody made a very good point on it, just because the year that he's had, he kind of has the Vikings kind of eating out the palm of his hand right now if they want to extend him. But he also has teams that are looking for a quarterback this offseason kind of on the other hand. And the question was, if you're Sam Darnold, do you hit the open market and try to maximize your value knowing that you could get put back into a similar situation like you were with the Jets, where if you go somewhere, you're going to most likely go to a shit team that needs a quarterback and you might not have any talent around you? Or do you stay in Minnesota where the system you're in right now has proven to be beneficial to you, and you can make the case that Sam Darnold has proven that he is a system quarterback and that this system works for him?
So if you're Darnold, right, just to put a bow on this thing, you go get your money because you haven't made any yet. You haven't been anywhere good. You have the opportunity to get money. You're not going to a championship caliber team after this year, right? Like, and even if you stay,
you're not on a championship caliber team this year.
No, but he's not going to go somewhere better, is what I'm saying, right? Like this is his best shot at anything. So go get your money because you're probably not getting a ring. Go get paid, because up to this point, he hasn't played well, hasn't made that bag yet. He has the opportunity to leverage that. Do it.
Go play for the Giants.
No, he won't go back to New York. I don't think at any end.
So I was reading this morning, moving away from the Vikings here, is Mayo might actually be on the hot seat, which is interesting considering they didn't give him a team worth anything. But it sounds like he might be playing into a situation where he's playing for, coaching for his job.
Which I don't understand how you can do that for a first-year head coach who
Has no talent on the roster.
literally drafted Drake May, and he started Drake May 6 weeks in, because he even admitted that Drake May wasn't ready after the preseason, so that's why he went with Jacoby. And since they've gone with Drake May, they've been for the most part competitive. They're not winning, but they've been more competitive with Drake May than they were with Jacoby.
Yeah. No, I mean, that one seems premature.
It kind of seems like the Frank Reich situation in Carolina last year, where Frank Reich
That's a different animal, though, because the Panthers owner, right, Tepper's a head case.
Well, no, exactly. But, why would you fire Frank Reich 11 games in knowing that you literally drafted Bryce Young number 1? You didn't have any supporting cast around him last year. Of course he was going to struggle last year. You can make the same argument right now for Mayo. If he's on the hot seat, you have Drake May and you have Ramondre Stevenson. And outside of those two, does he really have much of a roster that's around that team right now? It's going to take him 2 to 3 years to build up that roster.
Yeah, it seemed like an odd thing, right? Some of the coaches that are out there on hot seat make absolute sense. That one doesn't make any sense to me.
The only thing that I can think of is their locker room issues between him and some of the players, or between maybe some players are buying into his coaching and some players aren't. And if you have that locker room problem, you don't want to have it get worse.
Is this the Patriots?
Yeah, Gerard Mayo, the Patriots head coach. Yeah, Gerard Mayo.
I mean, I was trying to put this all together.
Yeah, Gerard Mayo, who was Bill Belichick's defensive.
Who said this? Who said that he's on the hot seat?
I forget where I saw it this morning. It was a quote of, I think it was a quote of Shefty.
Yeah, somebody from CBS brought it up on the weekend.
Yeah. So there's an actual conversation about it. It's not like it was, the sports memery or something like that. It was from Shefty or Rappaport. I forget which one it was, but so the conversation came up, and I don't think it's a hot seat in the way of, some of the coaches that we know are getting fired. Right.
Right.
But,
so here's what I would say about this. And I don't watch Patriots games. I have no idea how they're even doing. I think that they've won 4 or 5 games so far this year.
Yeah, they're not horrendous when you think of what's on their roster.
Right. So when I think about this, the one thing that I would say is probably most important for a first-year coach would be, is the team?
Oh, they're 3-win. They're a 3-win team.
3-10. Okay. Bill Barnwell is the one that put this out there.
Is the team making the same mistakes week in and week out? And is he not able to resolve any of the problems that he's watching on film with his own team? Listen, you can't help what the other team's doing, but you can help what your team is doing. And if you're making the same mistakes week in and week out and you're not resolving the issue, I could understand where the conversation would start on that. But you got to give the guy, especially a first-year coach, you got to give him a chance to learn. And he's learning on the job just like a brand new rookie quarterback is. All these things are all happening. So I can't say with any assuredness what the frig is happening over there. My expectation is that not much. Yeah. But I feel that to have that conversation means that somebody is delving pretty deep into the Patriots, and they're seeing similar things happen, things that a coach, even a first-year coach, should start to rectify, and they're not rectifying it. And that's where I feel that conversation may stem from.
Yeah, and
that's where in the locker room end of it comes in, right?
Yeah,
if there's something amiss there, because it's not like you thought they were going to win a lot of games. When you saw their roster come together and a first-year head coach, you knew this wasn't going to be a great season.
Yeah, the direct quote from Bill Barnwell is, "The Patriots have shown signs of life this season and have still managed to disappoint their fans. Yes, Drake May is a positive step in the right direction, but Patriot fans have also gotten on Mayo for a lot of his late game decisions and for some of the frustrating play on offense."
I'm okay with some bad clock management decisions, stuff like that early in the year, right? As you're kind of getting your sea legs as a coach. Because again, first year coach, you're
Mhm.
going to make mistakes. You're going to mess up some of those game time decisions. But that's another one where are you making similar decisions now that we're 13, 14 games in?
Yeah, and that's the other part of this. They basically said, I don't think the Patriots would let Mayo go 1 year after letting Belichick go. But with 4 games with teams that are 500 or better the rest of the way, the Patriots lost their best chance to win any games in December. There is a good chance that the Patriots could finish 3-14, and if that's the case, Mayo deserves some of the blame, but the ultimate blame must fall on Elliott Wolf, who did not give Mayo the type of roster to work with.
Yeah, well, I mean, you definitely have to look at the GM, right? Because at some point you got to look at the guys that are on the field. Now, as a coach, you have to make them better, right? You got to go win games regardless of who's out there.
The hardest part.
However, this kind of goes back a little bit to now Ben Johnson.
Sure.
Where it's like, okay, we're considering making a change at the general manager's position. And maybe in the process of that, I would fire Mayo to bring in Ben Johnson.
Sure.
And allow coach and GM with a quarterback, a very young quarterback who, like that fell into his criteria of stuff. Mm-hmm. That makes a little more sense if that started to grab some legs.
Well, and, I mean, we did that exact thing here in Seattle. Mm-hmm. We had Mora for 1 season, and then we brought in Schneider and Pete Carroll the next year. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's definitely not outside the realm of possibilities.
The Bears and the Patriots make a ton of sense for that thing where you have a young quarterback, Caleb Williams, Drake May, and then you could essentially get new GMs. Granted, Ryan Poles is rumored to be getting in an extension. If that's the case, chances are if they give Poles a 4-year extension, then they're going to – if Ben Johnson goes to the Bears, then he's going to have a 4-year contract. But if those are the criteria that he's looking for, where he wants the GM to be linked to his contract and to have a young quarterback, the Patriots and the Bears make the most sense because of the position they're in with their young quarterbacks. The problem with Gerard Mayo being hired, and I didn't want to overreact when they made the hire last year. Everybody knew that whoever was taking over for Bill Belichick was going to be seen as not a good coach if he wasn't going to have instant success because of the success that Belichick had. I just think the Patriots took the easy way out by hiring somebody that was on his staff last year, as opposed to maybe getting somebody else from outside the organization to come in. Because Mayo,
they didn't have the pieces to attract a high-level person anyway.
You didn't, but if you would have went outside the organization, you might have been able to get like a different viewpoint. Like Mayo's been in that organization now as a player and as a coach for 13 years.
Sure.
Like he's seen how Belichick has done things. He's seen how Robert Kraft has done things. But essentially you're bringing in a new coach that still has that same Patriot mindset as to how things have went versus if you would have went out and got somebody else. You're bringing in a different viewpoint. You're bringing in a different mindset. Maybe the roster's not great, but if you have different assistants that this other coach brings in, you could have different results.
Yeah. And Frankie, I'm not calling for this guy's job at all. I never like seeing a coach getting burned year one, especially a rookie coach. Like it doesn't make any sense to me to do that. I mean, you bring in a rookie coach and really even any first year coach, generally you need some time to put the team together. So I'm not a fan of firing right away. Obviously here in Seattle, it worked out with the Pete Carroll situation, but even at the time I felt bad for Mora. He comes in, he had a bad year. It was a 4-win season. So it's not like he was lighting it up or anything, but at the same time, you don't have enough time to build anything either. So in no way am I calling for Mayo's job here. But if they were going to go after a guy like Ben Johnson, who wants a GM to come in at the same time, looks like has their quarterback situation kind of figured out, younger guy, it does look like a situation where if you like Ben Johnson over Mayo, maybe you do pull the trigger on that.
Funny thing is, I know that my stepdad was telling me that Bill Belichick would have no interest in college, but it looks like he's going to become the North Carolina head coach, which I think is hilarious. Because I just cannot see Bill Belichick coaching in college.
I just, it's the recruiting. Like that's the part I can't wrap my head around.
Yeah. So
Can you see him on a kid's like at the on the couch in their house?
I don't even know if he's going to be doing the recruiting, honestly, because he's bringing his son, the one that was the defensive coordinator with him a couple of years ago. Is it Steve Belichick or whatever, or Steven Belichick, whatever?
Yeah.
He's bringing him with him to North Carolina because ultimately Bill Belichick wants to hand the job over to Steven when he's done.
Sure.
So it leads me to believe, is Steven going to be the one doing the recruiting? Or is Bill Belichick just going to hire some top-notch just recruiting expert and let that guy go to all these guys' houses and be like, come to North Carolina, you can play with Bill Belichick. And then Bill Belichick kind of just sits back and is like, oh, all right, you got me this 5-star guy. You got me this 5-star guy. I'll just see what I can do with them when they get here.
That's awesome.
I thought so. That's exactly what I thought when I saw that.
She's 28. She's out of college now.
I don't know. You can go back to college anytime you want.
Well, I'd go back to college to date her.
And yeah, you're right, Frankie. Steve's in Washington. I don't know that he'd leave that job for that, but
money talks. So I mean, if you're getting paid $5, $6, $7, $8 million to be a college head coach, it's a lot more than what you're going to make as a coordinator.
There we go. I'm just going to do that. Bam.
There we go. I really don't want you, but I was told I have to be here. You know, yeah, and that's kind of how I see that going, especially once you lump the NIL and other weirdness into it. That being said, like I want to see it happen. I think it'd be hilarious.
That was the other thing. I'm glad you brought up the NIL because you always have like NIL a lot of times gets increased by your donors. If you have really good donors within the university, you can get like more NIL money towards your university. If Belichick ends up going to North Carolina, I'm curious to see how much more NIL money they would get. Just because you have to imagine if Belichick lands in North Carolina has a shit ton of donors that fund the basketball program a crap load. They do a lot of donating for the basketball program, obviously. They do a lot of donating for the baseball program, which is why they have one of the best baseball teams in the country. But football doesn't get the same kind of NIL funding that the other two sports do. You have to wonder if Bill Belichick gets that job if football is going to start getting now that NIL donations from these donors. And if they do, what kind of transfers are they going to be able to get that want to just come here to play for Belichick?
Well, I mean, and that's kind of Frankie's point here, right? Is, you know, some of the guys will want to go there because it's Bill.
Yeah, and I think that's what North Carolina wants because North Carolina wants to start to become that ACC power. They don't want to be looked at as the little brother to Clemson, the little brother to Florida State, and some of these other schools that have kicked the crap out of them for the last decade. They want to start to be known as the big brother, I think.
He's not getting her a ring. Like, you know, maybe a glowworm, right? Juice box.
A ring pop.
That's right.
Mystery flavor. You never know what you're going to get.
And I don't see Belichick going to Dallas. I don't see that being a thing.
Him and Jerry would not work well together.
No, exactly.
It'd be an exciting circus to watch, but they do not work well together.
No, that's why I keep thinking Rex Ryan to the Jets would be hilarious. You know, if Rodgers stays, that dynamic would be so fun to watch. It'd be terrible football, but it'd be hilarious to watch.
It'd be terrible football, but at least Rex Ryan has a history with Woody Johnson, and it's actually not a bad history. Like, they actually do get along really well.
I'm not saying he wouldn't be a good coach there. I'm saying his dynamic with Rodgers wouldn't be good.
Oh, it would be good because he wouldn't let Rodgers wouldn't be able to take any shit. He'd be like, nope, you're done. You're sitting over here for now.
Rodgers would just quit. Like,
yeah.
Let's be honest. He would just go somewhere else. There's no chance he's going to the Jets. There's some history. Bill isn't going to the Jets.
Yeah, The only way he'd be going to the Jets if he's the owner of the Jets. That'd be the only way he's going to the Jets.
McCarthy to stay. I still think that was more lip service because he didn't want to fire him in that moment. Because as soon as you say, yeah, he's not coming back next year, you might as well fire him right then. So I feel like that was more Jerry just not having to pull the trigger on firing somebody right then. But I don't really see him bringing McCarthy back, especially with the way this year has gone and how the offseason went, where they kind of seemed like they were going at each other a little bit. It doesn't seem like this is going to be anything moving forward. That being said, one of these teams that need a coach, McCarthy will be out there.
I think he'll take a year off if he gets let go from Dallas.
Maybe. I don't know. It depends on the money and the situation, right?
He did the same thing when he got let go of Green Bay. He took a year off just because of how, I'm not going to say their marriage ended badly, but you just look at how stressful the ending of his Green Bay tenure was. And just kind of that's when Aaron Rodgers kind of turned into the Aaron Rodgers we know now, where he just became a douchebag. Like McCarthy, you could tell just like, I just need a year off. And I think just working with Jerry Jones, you might just be like, I just need a year off. I just want to go away for a while.
Yeah. And, we didn't talk about that. There are some rumors of Carroll going to the Bears. I don't see that being a thing just because he's already slated to be teaching at USC this year.
Those rumors are not true, by the way.
Yeah.
The Bears shot it down today. They have announced the 4 candidates they plan to hire or plan to interview first before they go into that second batch. The 4 candidates the Bears are going to interview are Ben Johnson, Brian Flores, Mike Vrabel, and one more offensive coordinator. I think Liam Cohen, Tampa Bay's offensive coordinator.
You think anybody kicks the tires on Bieniemy since he got fired last week?
No, because I know where he's going.
Okay.
He's going to go back to Kansas City.
Kansas City,
When you look at Bieniemy, and I can't fault him for this because Josh McDaniels did the same damn thing with New England, where he got his chance to be a head coach in Denver, didn't pan out, went back to New England for like 8 or 9 years, and was a great offensive coordinator with the Patriots again, and then went to the Raiders and struggled as a head coach. I think Eric Bieniemy knows that his best chance to become a head coach, if he's ever going to get a look, is to go back to Kansas City, go back to running that offense, get that offense maybe back to the level it was when he was running it there in the first place, and then go from there. So, I mean, it's a perfect fit because he would walk back into Kansas City. Andy Reid, would take him back just because those two worked so well together when he was there. Sure. And if that offense gets back to close to being what it was when he was there in the first place, he's going to get head coaching looks again. It just makes too much sense for him to try to do anything else besides just to go back there to get his name back in the NFL.
Well, I mean, also, it's never terrible to just go collect another ring either. So
collect the paycheck, collect the ring, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Build a Philly. There we go. Frankie just trying to spin you up a little bit.
I don't need to get turned up today. Lots of stuff happening here. Lots of stuff. See, there's lots of things. Like obviously, I'll drop the dime here right now. So tomorrow I will not be on the show.
Okay.
Tomorrow is a big day for me, though. However, the alcohol that I may or may not have mentioned on this show or not, is actually getting bottled tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
I will have it in hand tomorrow. End of business. So it is. I'm kind of excited about that. There's a lot of stuff that's going on around that. Also, if you are in the Philadelphia area, come on, Troy, I can't do this right now. The Pittsburgh super fan is trying to reach out to me right now. Hold on, real quick. Hey, Troy, I'm in the middle of a podcast. I got to call you back in a few minutes. All right, there. All right, perfect. There. There we go. You get all of it right here.
That's right.
So between that and we're having a New Year's Eve party here, the Most Delco New Year's Eve party, where we are going to be dropping a something. I can't tell you what it is yet because I haven't gotten 100% confirmed yet, but we're going to be dropping something from a crane as like the Apple. We're not going to just
from
drop
a
it
helicopter.
where it's going to explode. It's going to be lowered, and it's things like that. So it's so there's a lot of things going on today that so I can't get riled up like that. And on Thursday, and I think there's some tickets still available. Again, if you are in this area and you know who Jordan Spector is, Jordan Spector is releasing another card in his Immortals collection, and it's Allen Iverson. And I am going to be a guest bartender for the Allen Iverson event. So I am going to be bartending for Allen Iverson this Thursday evening. So
Nice.
there's a lot of stuff going on with the Philly Sports Guy, and that's why it's like I'm trying to manage the texts and things like that, along with the fact that our friend Josh Shapiro is going to be coming to our tailgate this Sunday and managing some of that as well. There's just a lot is happening with the Philly Sports Guy. The Philly Sports Guy's got his fingers in all the pies. I got blueberry, lemon, cherry, strawberry, cheesecake. You know what I mean? I'm doing it all over here. Lots of pies.
You got your hand stuck up Willy Wonka's ass.
I will be bartending in makeup. Yes, I will be.
Nice.
So, and I have to go out and get an Allen Iverson jersey. I don't have an AI jersey.
Yeah, get a throwback one. Get the old
I have that. I have to because I have the shorts.
Which ones? Do you have the
black with the red and the Sixers? It's going to be
like the Sixers logo they had when they went to the finals in 2000. That logo.
Yes.
Well, I would even go older than that. I would go like when the red, white, and blue Sixers jersey for like the logo they have now, but like their 70s style logo. They have an Allen Iverson jersey in that with that logo.
But then I gotta get the shorts to go with it and everything. Like it's just I ain't made of money. I don't have it like that yet, where I made millions of dollars.
He froze.
Poof. Okay.
I saw him freeze. There he is.
Cool. Yeah, so Comcast, incidentally, as awesome as they are coming back out on Thursday to try and fix their shit some more. Man, I am so frustrated with them as a carrier. And sadly, I just don't have another option. But I mean,
you can't do like T-Mobile or anything out there.
Yeah, so I got trees around me. It's so any of the satellite ones aren't going to be great.
You could do like fiber though, like T-Mobile fiber.
No, so my particular street, I don't have fiber down here yet.
Damn.
So it's just because of where I live. It's awesome. It's awesome.
I mean, Seattle Mariners used to be called T-Mobile Park, and you can't.
Well, no, the thing is I could use a T-Mobile hotspot.
Yeah.
The problem is to broadcast it's not the best.
That's why I was asking if you could do T-Mobile fiber, because if you were able to do fiber, I would just freaking switch to T-Mobile fiber.
Yeah, no. If it was an option, I 100% would already have done that because clearly.
Well, I mean, Comcast is a big company. Comcast should be able to do fiber.
I don't know why they don't. Like Spectrum too. Like Spectrum is also a big company, especially in Wisconsin, and there's only certain parts of Wisconsin that have the Spectrum fiber.
Spectrum is Xfinity.
Yes.
Well, it's called Spectrum here though. But
it's Xfinity though.
Yeah.
Spectrum. All right. So Xfinity was owned by the guy who owned the Flyers, Ed Snyder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Which is all Comcast.
Yeah. This is
Comcast. Just so that you know, every bit of data that comes into the country all goes through Philadelphia, all goes through Comcast.
Yep.
Every bit of it. It's not called Comcast even at that level. It's actually called something different. Yeah. But it's all Comcast.
It's Xfinity here too. I just call it Comcast because that's their bigger thing. Like if you really want to call it what it is, it's Viacom.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's how it all started.
There's like certain areas like where my house is, we have the capability to do fiber optic. So I have fiber optic internet. But if you drive 2 blocks down the street, they can't do fiber over there. So it's
just wherever the fiber is ran.
Well, I mean, there's lots of places like that. Hey, you could live in this place, so you could have natural gas. You can go a block down the road, and you have to have propane because there ain't no natural gas there because they didn't run the line.
also true where I live is the houses behind me have gas. My house does not, because my particular street only has 4 houses on it. And so they didn't bring any of the cool stuff to our house. And so sadly, Comcast is my best option, which is unfortunate because it's not a great option. If I had fiber as an option, 100% would do that.
And you can't upgrade to make it better. Like now at this point, I'm going to ask about spending money. I'm going to spend your
So
money.
I already pay for their 2 gig service, so I'm not paying for their basement crap service. Like this is their 2 gig, really unreliable shit. So yeah, no, I mean I'm spending money on it. That's another reason why it's so frustrating.
I mean, because you should have a repeat. You should absolutely have a repeater that you are hardwired into the repeater.
Yeah, so I actually have commercial repeaters in my house. So right. It's not that. It's either their line coming in or it's their equipment that buffers between. So because it's none of my Wi-Fi equipment, because it's all the stuff that I used to run for my business. So I have all of that in my house. So so sadly they're coming out yet again because their TV end of the deal went down Saturday. I missed all of the conference championship games. I ended up having to leave to see any of those. And then I missed the first half of Monday Night Football because their system just wasn't working. So needless to say, it's a point of contention. And I'm still trying to find someone that would be that it wouldn't cost me an insane amount to bring fiber down my street. But yeah, man, something has to change because this is ridiculous.
And that being said, we're at the end of our rope.
We sure are. Way to wrap it up on Go to Hell Comcast. And we will see you all tomorrow, except Pags. So,
I will not be here tomorrow, so or I might call you up. I might show up. Yeah, definitely send me the link because I might show up from the distillery.
Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. Yeah, definitely try and do that. Other than that, if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe. Helps us bring our content to you. And if you are watching on Roku, stay tuned for the next hour. Otherwise, take it easy, everybody.
Later, guys.